What's good, YouTube? Today we are going over the Hakone edition GR86 that has just been announced. If you're living under a rock, the Hakone edition GR86 has been announced. Limited to 860 models. Hakone comes from the Hakone Turnpike located in Japan. If you have not looked it up already, look it up and you'll see just what I mean. A lot of people speculated that Gen 2 would not get the Hakone edition as Gen 1, but we indeed got the Gen 2 Hakone edition. It comes in Toyota's Ridge Green shade of green. It kind of is like a forest green, and it looks honestly really nice. It's probably one of the best colors. There's red, there's blue, and I think green is up there, dude. Green is absolutely mint. They nailed the color on that. Not, I mean, it's still like the first gen, but I don't know. There's just something about the green on the bronze wheels they put together. Oh my, dude. The fact that they did not include the decals on the Hakone edition, I'd say is, honestly, it's a smart move on Toyota's part, because the decals on the Terreno edition is probably what brings it down the most, and I feel like you guys could kind of agree with me on that. The decals, they look kind of tacky, dude. They look tacky. And the Hakone edition, it looks mature without the decals. No decals on that. The green, the dark green, and the bronze wheels, it just has a mature look to it. That's also, I mean, it's a BRZ, it's an 86, so it's, you know, just a beautiful looking car. What else did they add to this car, you might ask? Well, we'll go ahead and take a look at the brakes, because that's what the Terreno edition has, and that's what we're comparing it to right now. What differentiates the Hakone edition from the Terreno? Why would I get the Hakone over the Terreno? Well, one thing that I kind of want to point out, which I feel like is the one gripe when it comes to the Hakone edition, is the brakes. So the brakes, the calipers more specifically, are painted red, and if we're just talking about looks alone, the red calipers do not go with the car. They definitely should have painted them the same green that comes on the car, the Ridge Green, because that would look 10 times better. Maybe even black, maybe even like orange. Orange could have went with the bronze wheels. I don't know, dude. I don't know why they went with red. The red doesn't really flow with the car at all, but that is a small gripe, I would say. You guys could definitely change that if you decide to get the Hakone edition. Next up, we have the shift knob. The shift knob, it's not too bad. It has the engraved Hakone edition on the shift knob. I think that is a really nice touch they added there versus the Terreno edition. It's really nice to have that engraved on the shift knob. It definitely screams, this is a special edition. Not only that, but you have the, you know, 10 out of 860 models made badge, which instantly grants you superiority to all other 86 owners. And they throw you the black traction control buttons and the climate control buttons, which I think easily looks better than what we get on the limited base, all that stuff. The black controls look way better. So the fact that they include that in there, perfect. On the topic of aesthetics, the seats, the interior, it has a nice tan color to it, which honestly, it complements the green so well. It's one of the reasons I'm looking at that car, I'm like, do I do it, dude? Do I do it? It's such a mature kind of look. It looks beautiful. I mean, you could throw different wheels in the car, you could do whatever you want with it, but I just feel like everything on that car, except for the calipers, flow so good. They honestly nailed it. And I like the fact that from the first gen green was more of kind of a glossy look, whereas the second gen is more of a matte finish, and it just goes so great with the bronze wheels. And something I want to add is they even threw the duck tail on there, paint match and everything. It's not black. I like that they didn't make it black like the Terreno edition. I like that it's paint matched. It looks great, man. Honestly, before we get into performance on the Hakone edition, I just want to say, in terms of aesthetics, they got a 9 out of 10. The car is absolutely beautiful, and I think that alone is going to make people buy it. Two more small things that I might have forgot that nail it in terms of aesthetics is, number one, the tollgate badge on the back on the trunk. Looks beautiful. It's like a bronze kind of goldish color. I think it looks 100 times better than the Terreno. It looks like a little Oreo chocolate bar or something. The Terreno, nah, dude. Hakone edition, it looks beautiful. It looks prestigious. It looks professional. They nailed it with that badge for sure. And they even threw in door lights. So when you open your door, it says Hakone right there. I know it's small, but it's really the small stuff that brings the whole car together. They definitely put a lot more thought into the Hakone edition versus the Terreno, and it shows. It's kind of early to ask questions, but what do you guys think? Do you guys think the Hakone edition had a lot more thought than the Terreno? Let me know in the comment section down below. So, hopping into performance of the new Hakone 86, we could expect a MSRP of around, I want to say 35,000 is reasonable. The Terreno edition came in around 34.7, something like that. So we could expect to see it kind of in a similar area, just because I feel like the Terreno is very similar when it comes to the Hakone edition. However, I would say one of the biggest differences that is going to set the Hakone edition aside, it's going to set it above the Terreno edition, is the rework in throttle mapping as well as the torque control. So if you guys have driven these cars, if you are an avid member in the community, you might know that these cars have problems with the throttle mapping. They're known for the inconsistency in the throttle. So apparently Toyota has remapped the throttle to make it more linear, and theoretically that should make the throttle more responsive on these cars, as well as not be so sensitive upon startup. It should make rev matching a lot more easier when you start up these cars. If you've driven one of these, you know that on the cold starts, when you go to rev match, you're basically doing this, because when you blip the throttle, when you're trying to rev match, the throttle control, it goes to like 100%. You give it the lightest touch and it just 100%. So that's one thing with these cars that Toyota says they have fixed. I'm really curious what kind of tuning they put into the throttle mapping. I want to see how much more linear that throttle is going to be, because these cars really have a problem when you're in like third gear, when you're in fourth gear, and you go to step on it, it just kind of goes. You don't feel the torque. It just feels like 100% throttle the whole time, and you know, you could have your pedal 75% of the way or 100 and it's still 100. So speaking of tuning, we could talk about the more refined, the tuned by Toyota, the Sachs dampeners. So apparently those were more fine-tuned to be more responsive, to handle better. So we'll see if that's the case, because that's what they said about the Terreno edition. We'll see how much better the Hakone's edition is from the Terreno's edition. We also have electronic power steering in the Hakone edition. To what extent, I'm not too sure. I kind of want to dive into that myself and see what in particular they've done to the power steering besides just make it electronic, so I could have a better understanding of the feel of the car. I wonder how much of a difference in feel it's going to have from the base, the limited, the Terreno edition. So I want to pass that question on to you guys. What do you think of the electronic power steering? Do you think that's a plus, or do you think that's a down? Do you think it's really going to interfere with the steering, the feel, the rawness of this car? Do you think it's going to make a difference or not? Personally, I have no idea. So that's why I'm handing off to you guys. Now I want to get into the gripes. They're small gripes, but I think they're worth mentioning. They already released the STI version of the BRZ. They already released the Terreno edition for the 86, as well as the 10th anniversary. I want to ask you guys something. When it comes to the extras added to the Hakone edition, yes, there's a number of extras. They engrave in the shift knob, the door sill light, the door light, but why couldn't they have not added maybe a Hakone edition strut bar? I think that would have gone really well. Instead, they just threw us the black standard strut bars, but I think that would have really kind of added. And how much more expensive would it have been? I mean, they could have kind of engraved or something, kind of like the STI version, but I feel like they could have added something there. They definitely missed on that one. Not only did they miss on the strut bars, but I think they really missed on the push to start button. I feel like when it comes to interior mods, the push to start button on these cars, they look absolutely beautiful where they're at. So if they could have added maybe a bronze, maybe not a bronze, but even a tan kind of push to start button, or just something different, a different color to kind of match, to flow the interior better, it would have really popped in these cars 100%. I feel like they missed on that one hardcore. And then the last thing I want to touch on is, as we mentioned already, the caliper color. It's red. It doesn't go with the car at all. They definitely could have made it green to flow with the car. I want to say bronze, because it would kind of look weird with the bronze wheels already. So I think green would have been the way to go. Maybe even gray, silver, something like that would have went so well. Black even would have went perfect. The red throws off the car. All right, so I want to give you guys my final thoughts with the Hakone edition in comparison to the Terreno edition, as well as the BRZ STI version. And we could even throw the 10th anniversary in there. As long as dealers don't mark up this car too crazy, which it is Toyota, and they're already known for marking up the Terreno edition and even the base models of these cars. As long as they don't skyrocket the prices of the Hakone edition, I'm predicting the 860 models, the production of the Hakone edition is gonna sell, dude. It's gonna sell so fast, faster than the Terreno. It's gonna outsell the Terreno, the BRZ STI, and the 10th anniversary. It's a beautiful, it's a mature looking car, and the minor aesthetics that it comes with, the fine tuning that they put into the Hakone edition, honestly, it's probably the best 8.6 you could buy for the second gen. I think they put the most amount of time, effort into the Hakone edition 8.6. And if you're looking into getting into this chassis, this platform, the 8.6 BRZ, as long as you're not paying too crazy over MSRP from the Toyota dealers, the Hakone edition is the best one to get into right now. So I just want to throw something in here. Something that you might be saying is, Julian, why can't you just tune your car and pay less money? You know, you don't have to get the 35, 36,000 Hakone edition already tuned and, you know, all that bullcrap they throw in there. Well, what I say to that is you might not be wrong. Theoretically, yes, you could tune your own car, but keep in mind that does void the factory warranty. So I feel like that's a good enough standpoint to stand on that. You could get the Hakone edition, and it already comes with the fine-tuned throttle mapping, which we have yet to see, so I don't want to set in stone my judgment on that. We have to wait and see how the throttle mapping is tuned from Toyota. All right, guys, that's where I want to wrap up today's video. I want to know your guys' predictions on the Hakone edition. Do you agree with me? Do you think that the Hakone edition is absolutely fine-tuned and they put the most amount of effort into this car? So guys, let me know if you plan on getting the new Hakone edition GR86. I really want to know what the community is thinking about this car. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to give me a like down below, and while you're down there, you can consider subscribing. That shows me you guys like what I'm doing here, and I can do more. But other than that, I want to give a big shout out to today's video sponsor, Hakone Electronics. He makes some really cool products, quality electronic products for the BRZ, the 8.6 chassis. So if you plan on getting your new Hakone edition 8.6, be sure to pick up your plug and play dash cam so you can protect your investment. He sells the dash cam as well as the plug and play to make it super simple at a reasonable price. He's selling it for our community. So go check him out. He also has some other cool stuff, auto folding mirrors, the Generation 1 turn signal stocks. But like I said, the most important is safety for your car, for your investment, protect your investment with the dash cams that he provides. He was nice enough to give us a free shipping discount code JULES in the description down below. Go check him out, man. Once again, shout out and thank you to our sponsor, Hakone Electronics. And while you're in the description down below, you can also check me out on my socials, Instagram, TikTok, all that cool stuff. Check me out. I post behind the scenes stuff. I post car meets, car events, all that kind of stuff. Julian Telesky, you find me everywhere, anywhere, and all the way in the description down below. But other than that, I'm gonna get the heck up out of here because I'm freaking sweating, dude. Time to go home and take a shower. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Ow. Well-known toge spot for a lot of togeyers. That's a good one, dude. Freaking good one.